Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. We have some wildly cool stuff going on today here at the Driven Shop. We're gonna show you our hopper car, the 1964 Impala with the full built frame, the nice LQ4 engine, and we're gonna get into details on that shortly. But I got a really cool surprise. We've got a giveaway for you on the channel. We've got a DJI Osmo Pocket 3 Creator Edition, and it comes with everything you need to make cool videos like we do. All you need to do, subscribe to our YouTube channel, comment the secret code that you're gonna be told later in this video. When we hit 1,000 subscribers, we're gonna go through, pick somebody at random, and we're gonna ship this along with a Driven swag pack right to your door. Enough about this, let's check out the car. So here we have the hopper car is what we've been calling it. The car itself is a 1964 Impala, came with an original motor. This is a variant of the original color. It was a gold car. We've now upfitted it with a LQ4 6-liter LS base motor. The difference between the cars and the trucks is it's an iron block. Little weight here in the front for hopping, but you know what? We got a good deal on it. We went through the motor. The heads were burnt on it, so we had to get those redone by a local machine shop here. And then we've dressed it accordingly with stuff we want to make a nice clean engine. We've used PSI harnesses on all of our cars. They work fantastic. Highly recommend them. And then the additional to the fuel rails, the intake, the mid-length headers are really nice valve covers that hide our MSD coils, give it that nice vintage look. We'll put those on for you as well. Now, the car itself is not on a stock frame. This frame was built by Caddyshack Customs out of Las Vegas. Really appreciate working with them. The car was the frame was fully done. It's ready for hopping. It's got its big coils in the front. It's got the rams front and rear. We've got a lot of chrome plating on this thing, the front control arms, the rear differential, all the arms. It's been boxed up additionally to allow it, as a lot of people know, these are X-frame cars. So a lot of twist in them. We're bouncing it up. We told Hoppos that we wanted these front wheels 3 feet off the ground at the minimum. We also wanted to be able to 3-wheel while driving, stationary, and turn corners while we're doing it. We're also upfitting the frame with a full Hoppos competition full chrome setup. So we're very excited. Now, we've never built a hopper before. So we got a bunch of guys here that effectively went to some shows, saw some super cool stuff, and decided we all wanted one. So the car originally started as a project with Chief Burnout Officer and his son Cash, who you guys do know. Cash actually graduates this year, and he's got this goal that he wants to go around the roundabout at his school. He wants to hop, he wants to 3-wheel. As you guys know, he speaks fluent Spanish, and this car is effectively his style. So we're really awesome to be able to work with Cash. He's in school, we're not allowed to let him skip. So during work hours, we work on the car, and then he comes and helps us out after work, and we'll show you guys that as well, because it's really fun working with an apprentice and messing with the apprentice. Right, Jeff? Right. So back to the car. Again, it's a frame from Caddyshack Customs. It's got a lot of the stuff already done for it. We've got the knockoff spokey wheels that all hoppers need, in our opinion. They're gold with chrome. We got black with a chrome accents on the frame. We've got black with chrome accents on the car. Now, these valve covers are red. They're not gonna be red. This engine was actually originally built for a different car that we're doing. This one moved ahead in line. We needed an engine, so we dropped this one in, and we're building another one for that other car. So these valve covers are gonna go more to match the car in a black and a chrome aspect. With that, we like to make things match. The interior of this car is going to be beautiful. If you come check around with me, we got Jeff. He's working tirelessly as always. So this interior is a full black interior, however, with big stereos that we like to put in our cars and road noise and stuff. He's starting with the X-Mat down here. He's rolling it all in, and then we're gonna go from there. Then we put the carpets in and things like that. With PSI, with our harnesses, they're fantastic. We're gonna have electronic throttle on this thing. We've got all the accessories put into it, and I'll step in here and I'll show you. All that we have to wire in as a team are these wires right here, and this engine's gonna run. The fuse panel is extremely small as well. It's a mandatory only. This is a standalone harness ready to go for this engine from PSI, and every one of our cars gets ordered with these harnesses. We like to make it really easy. Now, this one's also going to be getting a Dakota digital dash in it, which makes it really nice with the PSI harnesses. We actually can do an OBD2 plug-in with that, so it makes building this car almost like building a Lego when you were a kid. It's just we get to sit in it and we get to bounce it around, and we're not going to break this one, right, Jeff?
Yes. We're going to do our best job not to.
The secret code word for this video? Right there. So don't forget to go drop it in the comments and subscribe to the channel for your chance to win the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. So we're gonna lift the car up now. We're gonna show you the underside so you can truly appreciate what Caddyshack has done with this frame and the chroming and the plating. And we're gonna point out some areas of modification. It's front to back, but there's some big ones that we can show you that they cut out sections of the frame for drive shafts to get the rear wheels up, boxing things in, and we'll compare it to our 1960 that's up in the air that Dave's putting the motor in right now and show you some of the differences from a structured up hopper chassis to a cruising air ride chassis. So let's lift her up. A lot of the old Impalas have what's called an X frame. Now, as you can see here, it's literally an X. All the forces of the car are transmitting through here. So they're considered not the strongest, most stiff frames. You're not gonna go road racing in an X frame, but it's the frame that comes into the Impala and it's what we're gonna hop with. What Caddyshack did is he goes through the entire frame and completely encases it in another layer of steel. We can then from there have, I mean, it's much thicker. You can see in here, like he's welded. I don't know the gauge thickness or what it is. We could probably call Austin and find out. But for all intents and purposes, this entire frame has been fully wrapped around inside, top and bottom, and the outside in additional steel. It's much, much stiffer. It's much, much heavier. And it's now built in order to take the forces we're gonna do as we're bouncing this thing off the ground, because cars don't usually do that. When we go to hop or you go to three wheel, now I'm not speaking from experience here. I'm speaking from YouTube videos and some super cool guys that are teaching us along the way. We want to lift the rear end of the car right up. So we have rams in the suspension. Right now it's its lowest point, and we're gonna lift the rear end up. That's where you see those hoppers, lift that rear end up. Now they're gonna force the front wheels and they're gonna hop off the ground. Now, as we're told, it's a timing thing, a skill thing, and everyone's different and some people can't ever get it. So that's gonna be a later video as we all learn to hop a car because we've never done it. So from there, we've got wishbones installed here. All this stuff is going to lift the rear end of the car up high, and then we can do that hopping motion as well. The reason we went with a 4-pump competition system is so we can have 4-wheel independent control. You have to have that in order to 3-wheel. So what we will do, as I'm told, is lift the rear end up, lower one side, and it's gonna tip the car over. That's how you get your 3-wheel motion. Again, that's gonna be a video for another day to show how we're all learning that this isn't probably as easy as I'm making it sound, or I feel like it's supposed to be, because it's an art in itself that we're told. Some people that know X-frames know there's not a lot of room for motion in the tunnel of the X-frame. So if we back up just a little bit, you're gonna see here that this is all cut out. So it comes from the transmission to a steady bearing to the rear drive, or to the rear axle. Now, when we lift this way down, I can't give you an exact measurement on the distance it's gonna be, this pit is gonna hit. Additionally, why we needed to get it fully wrapped and boxed is because if we cut this much out of a frame that really doesn't have that much in it to cut out, we're gonna make it even weaker. We need this to be good and strong. So a lot of guys do that. In some absolutely crazy hardcore cases, they actually take the steady bearing out and they go straight to the transmission. So if you can imagine, this is completely cut out in here for the drive shaft motion when we come down. So all of our cars also, as you can see, this is really nice black finish. So we sandblast all of our cars or wire wheel them depending on the car, and we raptor guard them. We do it on the bottom of the tub and the top of the tub. It's got 2 purposes for us: rust and control, as well as sound deadening. We then add the X-mat as well, and then the carpet and everything. So we like our cars quiet, but we like the exhaust loud. So that's something else we do to our cars. If you come back here, everything else is relatively stock. We've had to cut some holes into the body to allow for the rams. We had to cut some holes in the back because we have to put somewhere in the neighborhood of 8 to 16 batteries to get the voltage for the pumps, as well as the pumps and the reservoirs and all of that stuff. So that actually goes into a cradle, because this very thin tin steel is not going to accept that kind of weight without causing damage to the car. We can't have that. So we transition all that weight and motion into the frame. So as I was saying, the pumps that go in the back, we've got them here. Let's show you those. Right here, we have this table laid out with our boxes from Hoppos. Now, because we got the frame from Caddyshack as a rolling chassis with the coils and rams in it already, some of the stuff we didn't actually need to use. However, we needed the big pumps and we needed all the reservoirs and things like that. These are our pumps. These are gonna bolt onto the back of here, and they're gonna create the reservoirs and the systems in place. From here, the fluid goes to each individual wheel as a control through the lines and the wiring and additional there. Now, some other cool stuff that came from Hoppos that we unfortunately don't need to use is this big, beautiful wishbone, because we have one in there. It's chrome plated already, and it's got that beautiful Impala logo We don't need the springs, ours are already chromed, and we don't need the rams. However, through learning about this process, we found that pumps and rams are a service item, so it didn't hurt our feelings to have some extras. So as we go to install this, we're gonna show you what we're learning along the way, how we're tying all the electrical into it, how we're mounting everything, because that itself is a showpiece in the trunk. So keep an eye out for some future episodes and how we're gonna do that. As you can see, we're underneath a different car. This is the 1960 Impala that Dave's been working on getting ready also for World of Wheels this year. What I wanted to show you on this frame is, one, we have done it, but it's got what's called spray mask on it because the body shop was doing a lot of body work on the car while it sat on the frame. The bigger thing I want to show you is the differences. You can see here that there's different areas of the frame, and compared to the Hopper frame from Caddyshack, it's smaller. It's not as rounded. Effectively, he plated the whole frame. And this is the stock cutout for the drive shaft. That is not even in that frame. So this drive shaft, it is an air ride car. It is gonna move, but it's not gonna move near as much as the rear end of the Hopper over there. This car here, this has a full ride tech system on it all the way around. Now it utilizes a lot of the stock components, a lot of the stock arms, which is really awesome for us in this one, and just takes the coils out and puts it on air. This is the difference of a relatively stock frame that we did address. We went through it, we added some welding to it in areas that it wasn't welded. We softened up some of the edges and ground off some stuff that didn't look very pretty. And then we did a full Endura coating, which is an industrial based coating on the whole thing so that it looks nice and shiny. The spray mask on this does not do justice to how shiny this frame actually is. So if you check out our next video, you can see the engine bay of this car and you can see some of the stuff he's already cleaned up and gotten that spray mask off. So go check that out. So that gives you an update on where we are at with the car and what we're learning along the way. Of course, there's gonna be some hurdles that we're gonna have to encounter, solve, and move forward from. Now, don't forget about that Osmo giveaway that we're doing. You gotta comment below, you gotta like this video, and you gotta subscribe to our channel. The second that we are at 1,000 subscribers on the YouTube, we are gonna pick from there, and someone's gonna take home a Driven swag pack as well as the brand new Osmo camera. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you guys at the next episode. That's some good maple syrup.
That's really good.